Hello, everybody, from Studio A in Texas, USA. It's the award-winning All Things Automotive Car Talk Show in Wheel Time. Just ahead, a review of our new car of the week, the 2021 Chevy Trailblazer. Did I get that right, Mr. Mars?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. A look at our weekly events calendar. Ryan Ainsley has another excellent car adventure segment, and we'll have the stories making automotive news headlines this week. That and more just ahead on today's In Wheel Time Car Show for Saturday, January 9th, 2021. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Konrad DeLong, Jeff Zekin's off camera over there. We appreciate you being with us today. And we're going to go right back to Mr. John Gray at Gulf Coast Auto Shield. And I think that the word was supposed to be technique and process, the process focus. So, John, thanks so much again for being with us again. Tell us about what's going on there. What are we looking at?
So this is Alex. Alex is tinting the windows on this 2021 Cayenne.
Yeah.
And I will get close to it as you in just a second when he gets a little bit closer to being finished.
What is that he's scraping? What is that he's scraping off the window?
Well, that's actually a squeegee that he's using, and he is squeegeeing out water and soap from between the window tint and the window, and now he's wiping it off so we can check it for any kind of debris or anything that might be in there, just so that so it looks absolutely perfect.
And the soap and water you put on, so you can kind of still have a little bit of ability to move it. Does that also activate the glue?
Yeah, you've got it activate. That's exactly right. So that activates the adhesive. The soap and water do, and you have to be able to align it. And so that enables you. That acts like a slip solution, and that will. Not only will it allow you to move it, but it prevents the adhesive for sticking too soon because it actually floats the film up on the glass. And let me make one more comment about Alex. Alex is actually going to the International Window Film Intent conference in Orlando this summer to represent the entire XPEL company because of his showings in the last two tent offs that they've had. So
congratulations.
In essence, he is one of the best tinters in the country,
and that's why he works for you.
He is not only that, he's a world-class guy too.
And he's taking the rest of the day off after this.
Oh, well, technically, I tell you what a good guy he is. He came in to help on my car. He's off today.
Is it still true that you can't roll down the windows for a period of time once a tint is applied?
Not, it's best practices not to. But the way that Alex installs, the way my guys install, they're going to install below the gasket. And so technically, if you were to roll it down, no, it's not going to hurt it. You notice some of these cars that don't have the full door frame, they go down for air pressure anyway. So you have better installed it underneath the gasket. That's correct. So, in most cases, no, you're not going to have issues if, they were to accidentally roll them down. I'd advise you to wait a day or two maybe, but that's that's it.
So earlier when he was on the computer, he was actually cutting this template for this vehicle.
He was cutting the front windows and the little quarter window that you'll see right there. And that's where it really starts to get tough installing something like that. Just because you really got some tight quarters in there.
So you said the computer cutter that you have, the plotter that cuts, you can actually cut slightly larger. You can design it to cut a little bit larger so that you get the ability to do a little custom fitting.
That's right. Now, obviously in here, you won't want to do that because you don't have anywhere to custom fit it.
Right.
The alignment's going to be critical here just to get it to cover up all the edges, but you're not going to be able to run it right up to the, that window doesn't roll down. Right. Basically, that's what I'm saying. So that's so we don't cut those any longer, and they're not designed any longer as well.
Interesting. The last time I had windows tinted, they did all that cutting in the window.
And there's Lacey. She's putting some adhesive on some Tesla emblems that we cut black. We painted them black, and they'll go on a car that we are doing a chrome delete on. me get this thing turned around so you can see my face.
So with the tint that you offer, do you offer, for lack of a better phrase, I'm going to use a good, better, best on your tint, kind of a value tint, a mid-grade tint, and then the uber fantastic tint?
Yeah, our mid-grade tint, our Prime XR, is going to be a film that is better than most companies' best film.
Okay.
That's why when clients come in, I recommend that they put that on the sides and the back. If they choose to do a horizontal glass like the sunroof, or perhaps time to time we might tint a windshield with some clear film.
I was going to ask about that.
That's where I would put the very best film, because that's where you're getting the heat. Heat simply will not transfer through that vertical glass like it does horizontal glass. The sun's above you, typically at its hottest point, not to the side of you.
Okay. And how does that? What's the difference between your mid-grade and the premium tint? What's the componentry inside the tint that makes it better?
Different nanoceramic particles that are in there, and what you're looking for. IR rejection is the key on window film when you're looking for heat rejection. And so you'll also notice it, like on our Prime XR Plus film, you're going to see, and it's this way with all of your super high heat rejecting films, it might have just a touch of a blue look, especially the lighter stuff. Those are the particles that are in that glass to make it have better rejection and better absorption.
And it's not that there's blue particles in it; it's reflecting the blue light wave that we see.
Yeah, it's just got a little bit of a different color in it because the material that they use to make film reject the maximum amount of heat is going to have a little bit of a different hue to it. It's not anything that is that really stands out. It's very, very subtle, in fact.
John, you mentioned something about doing like a sunroof. I mean, we're down here in Houston, and there's a lot of sun down here come August in particular. Do you do a lot of those?
We do. Some manufacturers, depending on the manufacturer, they will put an IR layer onto their sunroofs. Some of them do it on their windshields, but most of them do not, because it's very, very expensive to do it. So we do quite a few sunroofs and windshields. And I tell you, if you've ever had it done, now technically in the state of Texas, it's it may or may not be legal, or some people read the rules differently. You do it in such a way that it's nearly clear, and it also, with something on your windshield, it also takes away a lot of the glare at night as well that people experience.
Right.
And protects the dash from the sun.
That it does as well. That it does as well. We've had very, very much success with doing that.
Well, I was mainly thinking about the sunroof. My wife has one. She doesn't open it because of that, because of the heat. And we pick on Don a lot because of his affinity for sunroofs.
Do you have a sunroof on the Shelby?
It does not.
Yay!
They don't come with that.
I hate sunroofs. It'd be great if we lived in the upper Midwest around the Great Lakes.
But that's Becky's
we don't live there.
Yeah, she doesn't even open hers because of the heat that comes in.
Well, then you'd have snow tires.
I want T-tops on mine.
T-tops.
I'm going to cut some T-tops.
Yeah, there you go.
The best.
Yeah, do that.
That won't make the car flexible, the chassis flexible at all.
You don't, with the kind of power that car's got, I don't think you want very much flex at all.
Yeah. That car has extra special bracing and all sorts of special things for the chassis, I think, that keep it going down the street straight.
Has it got a roll bar in it? A factory roll bar?
It does not. It does not. I may do some autocross with it like I did my last GT350, but I won't do any heavy-duty track stuff.
Did you trade in the 350 or did you sell it outright?
My friend down at the dealer where I bought it took the car in, and he's in the process of selling it for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
so
he cut his eyes to see if his wife's over there listening or not.
I got the benefit of selling it and the benefit of the tax benefit,
trade
tax
credit.
well.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, it's always good to have connections. And
That's right.
Clearly you have the connections.
Man, it sure doesn't hurt. I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's good. Well, all right. So what else have we got over there at Gulf Coast Auto Shield?
Well, pretty much showed you everything in the shop. I tell you, our heavy hitter right now is paint protection film. The window tint has died down just a little bit, which it always does in
Seasonal.
the summertime, in the wintertime.
Yeah.
And but we are really also very, very busy with ceramic coatings, paint correction and ceramic coatings, which we talked about, the value of paint correction before paint protection film. Well, it's absolutely essential before you put a ceramic coating on the car, because you're doing so. You're putting a ceramic coating on the car to, number one, protect it from, acidic impact like, fallout, water spots, bird poop, things of that nature. So you want to get rid of that stuff before you lay down a ceramic coating. You want it to be as good as it could possibly be, especially with some of our coatings, because they have some self-healing qualities to them. And I'm not talking about they're not there for impact damage or any of that kind of stuff. They're there for like car wash related swirling, marring, things of that nature. And so you want to start with a clean canvas, especially when you're laying down a coating like that.
That was my question. What does a customer need to do to prep their vehicle before bringing it to you, or do you do that?
Please don't do anything. I might charge more if you wash it.
That's what I'm asking, if you do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Don't. I don't want the customer doing anything, because we're going to wash it. We're going to have to wash it. Even if it comes in clean, we're going to wash it anyway. We're going to wash it. We're going to do a ferrous oxide removal. On this car, before we put the clear bra on it, we use a product that will expose the rail dust that's on these cars. And any of these cars that travel via rail are going to be covered up in it.
Yep.
And, it's possible that, especially on like this white Cayman I'm sitting next to, it's very possible later down the life, then in its life, you might, if you don't remove this stuff, you might have like an orange dot that shows up in the paint. Well, that orange dot's going to be the start of rust on the surface from the rail dust that got on it on the way down here. Now, your Porsches don't travel via rail, especially the ones in Houston when they're in the United States, but they will travel from where they're built in Germany to the port. So even the Porsches that come in, the BMWs that come in, it's not just the domestic cars. They all are covered with rail dust.
And you see a lot of the manufacturers trying to mitigate that by doing basically a white plastic wrap on cars, trying to mitigate that rail dust. It doesn't really do that good a job, but it does better than what they used to. Rail dust is a real problem in the domestic market, huge problem. And they can identify where that car was parked on the train car to see whether or not they need that it was a rail dust issue, because when it's parked above
that's
the
right.
wheel,
The lower on the car, the more rail dust you're typically going to have on the sides and the lower parts of the car. And this could all be mitigated if they would create a rail car that had solid sides rather than the
aerated,
the
open
the areas where you can get some ventilation in that car, or in the train car, I should say.
Yeah, but then they can't
that is something that they could fix.
Yeah, but then they can't do so much of the illegal transporting stuff they do coming out of Silao, Mexico.
Let's throw that in there.
Well,
yeah.
But it is a real issue, and especially if you've got a light colored car. Yeah, that's something that you really want to look into when the car is fairly new. Is getting the ferrous oxides removed from it. And every couple of years, you might want to look into it too, because if you're driving near railroad tracks, what have you, you'd be surprised how much ferrous oxides are in the air.
John, where was your Cobra built?
Where was it built? It was built in. It was built in just outside of Detroit at the niche line where they build all the SVT cars.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask you was, if I've got a car, let's just say we'll use the Corvette as an example, the 20-year-old Corvette. Sure. I don't really know what it needs, if it needs anything. You and I haven't met before, but I hear good things about you. And I'm thinking maybe perhaps I need somebody on a professional level to look at the finish on the car. Do you do that? I mean, can I bring the car over there and get your opinion on it and tell me what I need?
Yeah, and I have people call and ask that question. Bring it over. Let's take a look at it and see what it needs. And the first question I ask them is where do you want this car to be? Where do you want to go with it? Because a lot of times, small improvements can be affordable and make a huge difference on the car. It's funny. I had a guy come bring in a 1983 Berlinetta a couple weeks.
A Chevy Berlinetta?
Nice.
Yeah. The newer, when the body style changed in 82, he got an 83. Literally, this man drove it here, took it to England with him, drove it there, brought it back. It got flooded in Harvey, and he just got it fixed. Oh, this is a 176,000 mile car. It had some issues, but we identified the areas that we could improve on the car, put a light coating on it, and man, he was absolutely thrilled.
Did he have some sort of a personal connection to the car? Because the car is worth maybe $2,000 at best?
176,000 miles with a $200,000 tab.
Look, the guy's also got a F430M Ferrari.
So he has an emotional connection to the Berlinetta.
He's got an emotional connection to the car that he's driven it here. He's driven it in England. He brought it back. It got flooded. He brought it back. So, it was kind of
He
cool.
also probably at this point has a big connection with his therapist every week.
Now,
I don't know.
Don't get John in trouble. The guy might be watching.
I'm just teasing, but I mean really a Berlinetta. But hey, stranger things have happened. Back in high school, I had a 65 Corvair. What did I do? In my old age, a lost sense is what I did, and bought a 66 that I spent a fortune on, and you saw the car. So
well, let's go back to my Conrad's Corner about us and our cars.
That's exactly right.
And that's the thing that John's even talking about with this gentleman with the Berlinetta is that person had great value in that vehicle, and John was coaching him on what could help the car without overselling him on what was necessary.
Right.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of added value, and there's a certain amount of ripping people off.
Right.
It all depends on the car and what the client wants to do with it. I'll tell you, one of the more interesting cars that we're going to get in here pretty soon is a good client, a friend of mine, just bought a Buick GNX, one of the McLaren cars.
Oh, yeah.
This car's got about 500 miles on it, and it is perfect.
500 miles on it? Wow.
Perfect. Hey, there's another one floating around with 98 miles on it.
Oh, that's truly collectible because that was the 1 year only end of production run on the had the ceramic impeller turbos in it. That was
quite a car.
It made Chevrolet quite mad because it was substantially faster than the Corvette of the day.
Man, I get excited when a customer brings a car like that in. The old Monte Carlo SS. That GNX, any kind of, old Camaro like that. When I was in high school or something, those things are, I don't know. I guess I got a connection to them too a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of the unicorn. It's that unique car that you don't see very many of, and you getting an opportunity to work on one of them it's exciting because you may never. In most cases, probably never will see another one that you get a chance to work on. John, thanks a lot. We really appreciate you coming on and sharing your knowledge. People can get a hold of you at GulfCoastAuto.com. I posted your
GulfCoastAutoshield.com, and I'm 832-264-0670. Even if you wanted to stop by and visit,
we're coming over for some shots after the show.
Right. I'm talking about.
Come on.
All right.
Yeah, we posted you up on Facebook as well. Thanks.
Thanks so much. We'll talk to you
John.
soon. Appreciate you. All right, time now for this hour's car review, and we have the 2021 Chevy Trailblazer. Mr. Mars has that.
Yes, sir. I had an opportunity to drive this vehicle. Been a while since I've been in the Trailblazers. In fact, this is the first of the new revamped Trailblazers that I've been into, and it comes in actually 5 different trim levels. the L, the LS, the LT, the Active, and RS trim. Now, the reason I say that is because we had the Active all-wheel drive option for the Trailblazer that we were in. Now, this is Chevrolet calls it a small SUV because it's kind of a little too big for a subcompact, but it's kind of a little bit on the compact side. So it's nothing like it was when it originally first came out. So up front, you're going to find that it's got a dual-port grille on it. It's kind of a Camaro-esque, the way they've done the grille on it, because this is the Active, and it's got a much more sporty look to it. In fact, it's got what Chevrolet calls simulated skid plates up front for off-roading.
Simulated
That means
off-roading.
they're not real skid plates, and you'll rip them off if you hit a rock with them.
So anyway, so it's got the LED headlights, fog lights, daytime running lights. It's got a dual pane power sunroof that we were talking about, which is actually a $1,770 option, which I like the idea that it's an option because that means you don't have to have it. Too many of them, it comes as the one that you got to have.
That's the full length type.
Yeah. Well, but it's
panoramic.
two panes.
It's two pieces of glass.
Yeah, it's two panes in it. And
is that PAIN or PANE?
well, it depends on how hot it is and whether or not John's put you any
Just
additional
saying.
feed on it. I still got John in my ear. I got to get him out. So anyway, it came with a power-free hands lift gate, a hands-free power lift gate. It had the 17-inch aluminum black wheels on it, which was kind of nice. I like the way it looked on that. And when you get into the interior on it, we had the leatherette seat trim. And one of the great things is we had the optional passenger front seat will fold flat. So by the time you fold the seats down in the second row, which are 60-40 folded down, you can actually put something 8.5 feet long in there. So you can get you some 2x4s or a surfboard or whatever. The rear passenger seat, as I said, is a 60-40. It will fold down flat. It does have a rear center arm console on it. And it comes with we had the optional Bose audio system with 7 speakers in it. So comes with a 4.5-inch driver display for the driver's information, 7-inch touchscreen for the Chevrolet infotainment system is standard, but there is an optional 8 that you can step up to. Now you get up under the hood, we had the 1.3-liter turbo 3-cylinder engine, which is the option, over the 1.2-liter, which is the standard, but it's also a 3-cylinder. So we had the 155 horsepower, 174 pound-feet of torque. We had the optional 9-speed automatic. If you get the standard one, it's going to be a CVT. EPA says in the city you should be looking for 26 miles to the gallon. The highway, you're looking at about 30. And so the combined, it's at 28. And I did get the 28 out of it. It was pretty easy to do. It's not, as I said, it's not the first-gen Trailblazer SUV, full-blown SUV. This is a CUV. It's got a very CUV-type ride on it. It's got 3 drive modes, normal, sport, snow. The difference between sport and snow, I really couldn't tell a whole lot of difference between them. And it does have the electric steering, which to me is it's very electric. You
Very disconnected.
Very disconnected is a good way to put it.
Over-assisted, which is relatively typical at the GM level.
It is, and I've got another one out there that's very much like that. So if you're looking for something to compare it to, you might look at the Nissan Rogue Sport that we were looking at earlier. Starts at around $23,400, a new one. A Mazda CX-30 starts at $21,900, or even the Subaru Crosstrek that we talked about a couple of weeks ago at $22,200.
Have you started those shots yet?
My mouth's dry because I'm thinking about them. So if you look at it, you can get a 2021 Trailblazer, a base model, for $19,000. I mean, we're talking about the stripper here down at the L trim level.
Entry
That's
level.
the stripped down version, not the stripper.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
He's talking with his
Strapped
hands.
down. But the 2021 Trailblazer all-wheel drive active base that we were driving starts at $26,900. Now the MSRP is tested with a few options on it, bumped it up to the MSRP is $32,350.
It's not too
for
bad.
a small SUV.
Not bad.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
Thought we would kind of keep it in the realm of General Motors just for a moment. Or do you want to? Let's do the racing calendar, shall we?
No, we've already done the racing calendar, but let's do.
Wait just a minute.
Yeah, we've already done the racing calendar. Let's do the calendar of events that's coming up. We've done events,
let's do that.
which is tomorrow, but let's do stuff that's
Let's
coming
do
up.
something.
So the biggest thing coming
Let's
up
dance.
is tailpipes and tacos.
Let's do some shots.
Yep.
is Tailpipes and Tacos next weekend at Loopy Tortillas on Kingsland and Grand Parkway. Yeah, I said that correctly, right? And we'll be out there doing the show live, so come on out and say hello to us. We're always looking for people to interview as well, so if you've got a cool car, stop at the table and talk to us before 8 o'clock, and we may put you on the show.
Or that would be the set.
I'll track them down. I will track them down and get them up there.
Okay, like you don't have other things to do.
No, but there were some folks that we had out there last time that were interested in coming on. There's a gentleman and his wife with, I believe, a white Trans Am that were nearby that
we missed.
Right, we missed them last time. Yeah.
So also next weekend is Exotics on Market Street, which is going to be over basically, I'm going to say the I-10 Beltway 8 area. And Sunday the 31st is going to be a Houston Performance Driving meet at Twin Peaks in the Woodlands with friend of the show, Troy Dixon. On the 30th, Woodlands Barbecue in Tomball is going to have the Fire Up Car Show. They're going to have 25 awards given out that day, put on by Showplace Classics. The Greater Houston F-Body Club is going to be meeting on February 13th at Otto's Barbecue in Sugarland, or is that the Fountains?
Fountains.
The Fountains. Lone Star Throwdown. Woo-hoo. If you're into trucks and you're into 2,000 trucks, customized trucks, you want to come out to the Montgomery County Fairgrounds the 26th through the 28th of February up in Conroe. It's going to be a great show, is always a great show. And then the 12th Annual Collector Car Appreciation Day, everybody want to kind of plan ahead for that. That's going to be July 9th. Lots of stuff has been kind of postponed, but those are the things that we know are still on schedule.
Back to GM. General Motors plans to start building 2 battery electric crossovers for Honda Motor Company within the next 4 years, a Honda-branded vehicle at a GM plant in Mexico, and an Acura-branded vehicle alongside the upcoming Cadillac Lyriq in Tennessee, according to people familiar with the plans. Like the Lyriq, the Honda and Acura vehicles will be powered by GM's proprietary Ultium batteries, which have a range of 450 miles, is what they're claiming right now. Morgan Stanley predicts the Ultium batteries will be used in more than 5 million EVs annually by 2040, including more than 1 million non-GM vehicles. Thought that was interesting. GM plans to launch a rebranded website Monday, January the 11th, to share the latest information on electrification. So
I heard that the current generation Camaro is going to live on till 2026, and then no plans beyond that at this point. But who knows how that's going to play out.
They've extended it then.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio, iHeart Podcast, TuneIn, Google Podcast, Pandora, Amazon, and Podcast Addict, among others. The In Wheel Time Car Show continues after this quick break.
Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's premier cruise-in, and you're invited to join in. Whether you're a cruiser or spectator, Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and mingle with Houston's fun car people. Mark your calendar for Saturday, January 16th for Tailpipes and Tacos at the Loopy Tortilla Mexican Restaurant in Katy, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods all at one location. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in a friends and family event. The Loopy Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Loopy founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise-in, Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, January 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Loopy's in Katy. The In Wheel Time Car Show will be there too. Get your ride ready and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise-in, January 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Loopy's in Katy, weather permitting. Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild-to-wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckWorks.com. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com.